What's going on, YouTube? What's going on? Just a little late night Bible talk. Derek Jones here. Derek Jones Talks Live. Shane TV East Watch. Let's go in. Oh, also Derek Jones Talks too. Let's not forget. Let's go in. Okay. Tonight, guys, I wanted to, I did something before I start going in. Whoever's in here, anybody in here, is my audio okay? Is my audio all right, Tasha? I want to make sure everything's good before I start running my mouth. Because even when I heard the video last time, it sounded okay on the video, but it was probably just choppy on the live. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go in. I'm going to assume everything is okay. All right, here we go. Anyway, before I was working on some stuff to change Derek Jones Talks into a more serious platform like Derek Jones Talks Live is. Like I said, that's all I wanted this platform to be, is serious, and this talk, Derek Jones Talks, to be serious. So I guess we got to start pushing Derek Jones Talks Live. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and please like when we get in the when you come in my chat. But anyway, let's get ready to go in. I did a couple of videos on religion, and I think the first ones that I was touching on were Moses and Hezekiah, and the fact that Moses had constructed a serpent, a golden serpent, for the children of Israel to worship to and pay respects to. And Hezekiah, King Hezekiah at that time, he was king, had came through and tore all that shit down. And it mentioned it specifically, I think it's in Chronicles, how Hezekiah tore it down. And I had went into and did a quick little video on the possibilities of why Moses would make a serpent and have the children of Israel worshiping, or children of the Hebrews worshiping a serpent. And so I went into, I'm going to redo the video because that's not tonight's focus, but as a matter of fact, for real, I could jump into it again because it's right here in one of my Bibles. So it'll be no problem to jump into it. But tonight's topic was something a little different. Tonight's topic is a little different. I wanted you guys to read a couple things and see a couple things before I actually start speaking on them. So here we go. And as a disclaimer, I don't knock anybody for whatever religion you came up in. Most of us who are in certain religions is not even of our own doing. We were raised in them, or you were raised in them. So I don't go around knocking people. As long as you're a good person to me and you for the cause, hey, more power to you. Now, first we're going to start with this term right here. And this term is called an allegory. Okay? And we don't have to get fancy. We don't have to go super deep and all that shit. But an allegory is this. It's a noun. A story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning. So right off the bat, whatever it is, anything that is an allegory, whatever it is, right off the bat, whatever it is on face value is not actually what it is. It's a story or a depiction to get you to think about something else other than the actual depiction. And that's very interesting. And I want you guys to remember that. That's right there, the first few words, first 6 words, 7 words of the definition. A story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning. Its whole purpose is to be interpreted as something else. So whatever words go into this allegory, none of that shit is to be taken literally. It is to be taken to be interpreted for another literal meaning. Okay, this shit is key. Okay, let's continue. Typically a moral or political meaning. Okay. It's another one in here. Here we go. Da, 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 da. I'll give you another clearer example. A representation of an abstract or spiritual meaning through concrete or material forms. Figurative treatment of one subject under the guise of another. That is very important. As if, like I was to, like if I were to say, the Lord gave someone the gift of the Holy Ghost. It does not mean that there is some individual called the Lord somewhere giving out stuff. Not in that sense. Okay? It is to be interpreted. A whole other meaning is to be interpreted from those words. And I said I was going to give you guys a couple of different definitions, but we're not fucking dumb here. We pretty much got it. Okay? Let's move on. Allegory. Story or poem or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning. Typically a moral or political one. Let's move on. Let me check you guys real quick. Okay, let's move on. Colon. This is not English class, guys, so I'm going to be done with this part quickly. And I do not presume to be anybody's English instructor. But here we go. The colon. And I'm talking about the punctuation mark colon. The colon is a punctuation mark consisting of 2 equally sized dots centered on the same vertical line. We already know this. Now let's get into the meat. Okay? A colon precedes an explanation. Okay? Or an enumeration or list. But we're not even talking about that. I want you to concentrate on the first couple of words for the definition. A colon precedes an explanation. So whenever you see some words, okay, and then or a word, and then you see a colon behind it, an explanation is about to come to specifically define the few words or the word that was in front of the colon. All right? So we got 2 things working right now. We got allegory, okay, which is a story, poem, picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning. And we have the colon. The colon precedes an explanation or an enumeration or list. Specifically to what we're talking about, an explanation. Okay? Let's go in. I would ask you to turn your King James Version of the Bible, which I had an older version because they're even better, to the book of Galatians, chapter 4, verse 21. We can start there. It really doesn't matter. But it's really 24. But I always like to start a little ahead of it. So people won't think I'm trying to misinterpret anything and use it to denounce the same material that I'm using. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do you not hear the law? Now that here I'm interpreting as actual hearing and comprehending here. Tell me, you that desire to be under the law, do you not understand the law? Do you not hear the law? For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise. Okay? So, these two sentences come after people being asked, do you not understand or hear and or understand the law? Okay? Let's go to 24. Which things are in, there's that word, allegory. What things are an allegory? The things that he said before he got to saying that these things, which things are an allegory. That means, for it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman. He who was born of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, and he of the free woman was born by promise. These things are an allegory. Okay? In other Bibles, it's very much more clear, but it doesn't matter because the term is there. And the term allegory is there as well in all the other books, but it's much more clear than the other ones where it tells you that these are two things, these are an allegory to describe the relationship between God and man. But I'll use this one right here. It doesn't matter. Still there. It's still preceded by Abraham and his two. So the whole covenant, the whole point of all of everything in the book, damn near. These things are an allegory. The allegory is followed by a colon, which is going to explain this allegory, which is the things that were said previously. The whole point that I would bring any of this stuff up to you, for you to see, for you to read, for you to look at, the term allegory, and we already know that an allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. Synonyms like parable, analogy, metaphor, symbolism. All of this right here, Abraham and his two sons and the one born, but that's all symbolism. It is not something that actually took place. Now, I've heard before people say things like, you have to read with the eye of the Lord and the heart of the discerning and the blah, 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 blah. Okay, I got all that. But at the end of the day, these are actual words used in a language called English, and they have definitions. This is a comma. This is a question. These are punctuation marks that are added for reasons. We do not read from bottom to top. We read from top to bottom. So reading from top to bottom, a story, something is being played out. A story is being played out where you have one, let's say A is asking whoever, hey, all you who desire to be under the law, do you not understand the law? For it is written that Abraham, blah, 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 the covenant, blah, 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 which things, because this is just the covenant. Okay, the covenant. So we can just shorten all that by saying, do you not understand the law? The covenant is an allegory. For these are the two covenants. It's a story. If it was talking about anything other than Abraham and his sons and the covenant and all of that stuff, then I would have never really touched on it before. And this is old information, guys. This is old Derek stuff. I never had a platform before, so I was never able to share this with a bunch of people. But people who know me know this and know I know these things. And it just brings to question other things about the Bible that most people don't care to look at or look into or just don't know about. The whole covenant of Abraham and his sons is an allegory. I don't claim to have the entire picture. I don't claim to know exactly the whole point for the allegory. I don't claim any of that stuff. What I do know is that covenant, which is described right here, after the statement was made, tell me, you that desire to be under the law, do you not understand this covenant? It's an allegory. Why would you be taking it literally? That means all the things that happened supposedly afterwards, how Abraham and Sarah went into the world, they went here and they went into Egypt and they did this and they did that. None of that stuff actually happened. It's an allegory to show the relationship between God and men, or men and God, or their gods. I got another one for you guys. I want you to take a look at this. If you have a newer version of a Bible or study Bibles, which most people who are really into Christianity have, study Bibles. If you look at the bottom of these books, you get a lot more information than you actually get out of the books, out of the book itself. What do I mean by that? Let's take, for example, the book of Mark. Okay? The book of Mark has 16 chapters. Okay? The book of Mark is a piece of writing that is said to be derived from the New Unitarian and or the Septuagint or whatever. Okay? That's where the Bible was supposedly translated and rewritten and all that, and all these stories and scriptures and all that shit was put together. Now, was I there? No. Do I know for a fact who did what? Of course I don't, and I never will. First off, because I don't want to know that much. That's number one. Number two is because the people who do know are not going to share, and it's going to be too much to try to find out whether that is actually true or not. But what I do know is true, that they openly admit that the scriptures were taken from the New Unitarian and or Septuagint. Now, the book of Mark has 16 chapters. In the book of Mark, chapter 16, verses 1 through 8, is legitimized by most who say that the translation comes from the New Unitarian and or Septuagint. And Mark 16, verse 1 through 8, nothing was said about it. Okay? And I'm going to quickly read through this. Not in Netta style, but a real literate person. Chapter 16. And when the Sabbath was passed, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome had bought sweet spices that might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came into the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. And they said among themselves, who shall roll away the stone from the door of the sepulchre? And when they looked, they saw that the stone was rolled away. Okay? For it was very large, or great. And entering in the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment, and they were affrighted or amazed. And he saith unto them, Be not affrighted or amazed. Ye seek Jesus of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Behold the place where they laid him. Wow. But go your way, tell his disciples and Peter that he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall you see him, and as he has said unto you. And they went out quickly and fled from the sepulchre, for they trembled and were amazed, neither said they anything to any man, for they were afraid. So they didn't go tell Peter anything, they didn't say anything to anybody. And that was that. Now, here's where the interesting part comes in. Verse 9 to 20. And I'm going to go through this. Verse 9, chapter 16. Now when Jesus was risen early the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils. And she went and told them that had been with him, as they mourned and wept. And they, when they heard that he was alive and had been seen of her, believed not. After that he appeared in another form unto 2 of them, as they walked and went into the country. Very ambiguous on what this form actually is, but we'll continue. And they went and told it unto the residue, which is the remainder. Neither believed they them. Afterward he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat, and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had been seen after he was risen. And he said unto him, turns into the red, this is assumed to be Jesus talking, go ye into the world, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak in new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. So then, after the Lord had spoken unto them, he was received up into heaven, sat on the right hand of God, and they went forth and preached everywhere. And the Lord working with them, I guess in them, working with them, and confirming the word with the signs following. Amen. Now, what I read from verse 9 to 20 was the entire basis of Christianity. If you talk to anyone who is valid, who claims to be a known person in that religion, a knowledgeable person, in that religion, someone who's not even claiming to be a knowledgeable person, but knows or claims that they know the Lord and they know God and this and the third, they all cling to that because that is Christianity as we know it today in a nutshell. And none of that shit was anywhere where they supposedly got the words, the writings from. That means someone put that there. I'm going to read just a couple sentences off of this, and we're going to go in and just have a quick little discussion, and then I'm going to get out you guys here. The longer, a case for the longer ending of Mark. The longer ending of Mark, which appears as Mark 16, 9 through 20 in most translations, is believed to be spurious by many Bible translators and commentators today. Most modern translations footnote the passage, which I told you, if you get a study Bible or any sort of Bible that has any type of footnotes in them, they will clearly tell you that this was not in it. It is added in. It does not tell you who it was added in by, but it just simply says it was added in. Translations footnote the passage. Okay, and the new NIV 2011 prints the passage in italics, further indicating doubt as to its authenticity. Even today, it's still doubt to its authenticity. Why would it be doubt to its authenticity, because it would, from the information that you claim to have taken this from and translated it, none of that shit was there. That's why you would doubt its authenticity, because you know it wasn't there. You knew that it was an add-in. The giant purple elephant in the room is no one wants to ask who did it and for what purpose. Because if you ask me, that is the whole basis of Christianity. That Jesus was sitting in the sepulchre and he rose up and he sat on the right hand of God and he told him to go preach, and all of it, none of that shit was there. Somebody specifically chose to add something to something that was not there. That is like me telling the life story of Michael Jordan. And I write all his basketball heroics, all the life of Michael Jordan's basketball heroics. I tell through his life as a child in North Carolina. I tell how he went to the University of North Carolina and started a big-time program. I show you how he came to the Chicago Bulls and basically tore the league up, did all this stuff. He retired, he came back, then he retired, and he came back again. And then once he retired, that was it. Okay, what if I said that? And then, and that's verse 8. And then verse 9 says, and then Michael Jordan came out of retirement one more time, and he joined the Dallas Mavericks and took the Dallas Mavericks to 16 straight world championships. And then after those championships, he ascended and sat on the right hand God. Come on now. Come on now. Like, that changes a lot. That's all I'm saying. So I'm saying all of this to say what? What's up, Posh? I'm saying all of this to say what? I'm saying all of this to say we're not getting a full story. When it comes to this, it's not a full story that you're getting. When it comes to something that Europeans handed to us, and I know a bunch of people want to make concessions for the Bible, and they want to say things like, well, you cannot talk your way out of this shit. Whatever you know about the Bible, however you praise the Bible, however you use the Bible, dog, that shit was handed to us by Europeans. And it was not handed to us for our liberation. I'm not saying that you're a bad person or whoever reads it is a bad person or this, that. I'm just saying that book was not handed to us by us, and it was not handed to us for our liberation by the people who handed it to us. It wasn't even read to us by us. So how do you think that the slaves came up or got the narrative in came up with the story that they got about the Bible and were believing it the way they were believing it? Because it was read to them by Europeans. They didn't have anyone around there like me or you or anyone else to say, hey, wait a minute, verse 9 through 20 is not in the Septuagint or the New Unitarian. So how the hell is it in here? And it's not even accepted by most excuse me, Bible commentators and translators. They don't accept that at all. They say that that shit is a narrative. And this conversation is never had. Earlier today, guys, I did a video on the conscious, this conscious movement, the pros and cons. And this is a part of it. You're not, it's like when you live in this society, it's all pro. And that's not, that's an imbalance that can't exist. There has to be some con. Even if there's not a con that we could judge someone on, it has to be something that we can at least look at. We have to at least be able to look at the opposing argument, the opposite side. And I have no problem with saying, okay, Mark 1, chapter 16, 1 through 8 is original. Okay, I'll say that. Let's say that. But 9 through 20 isn't. And it's not even accepted by the people who translate the Bible and comment on it today and before. This is not a new argument about translations. This is an old argument. So that's the entire basis of the lore of Jesus. The whole majesty of Jesus is that he ascended into the heavens on the right hand of God, and he did, like, that's the whole majesty of him. And that stuff, and like even Bible translators are telling you, like, yo, that's not really what took place. So it's very interesting that these things are never talked about. It's very interesting that these things are never brought to the forefront. I told you guys before, I don't have a problem with accepting what it is I am to accept. But what I choose to accept. But what I don't want is to be tricked into something. Don't tell me that this is the infallible word of God when there's too many parts missing. There's not enough information given. Does it have scriptures in there that may uplift you? Of course. Does it have things in there that could be looked at in a positive way? Of course. But to have the notion that it is infallible, like if someone read the Bible and tell me, like, yo, I read the Bible, but the Bible is nowhere near infallible, and a lot of it I don't agree with it, but 67% I agree with, and so I'm going to rock with that. I'm cool with that. But this whole notion that it's infallible, or that my God always, yo, the God of the Bible, it has to be like Tim. He has to be schizophrenic. Because there's places in the Bible where God, where people prayed to the Lord, and the Lord had fucking children attacked by bears just for laughing at somebody because they had a bald head. So it's like there's no way in hell that the same entity called Jesus could do the same, could be behind that shit. There's no way that he could be real in what he said he is, and somebody could call on him to have children killed for laughing at his bald head. Because I got a bald head. So because some kids say, oh, he got a bald head, I'm going to go in my house and pray that the Lord strikes them down by way of a bobcat or something. So it's like, it's too many different questions, man. That's why I'm not a religious person, guys. I don't feel like the creation that we live in called life requires a religion to be living this life correctly or incorrectly. I don't even think there's such thing. What you say, Pai said, Oprah once said, if a book has one lie in it, whether it's big or by mistake, it's fake. It's equivalent to fiction. And see, Pai, I won't even be that harmful. I won't even be that serious. Like, I'd be like, okay, it's just my nature to always give people a chance. So I always say, yo, like, just come out and say that, listen, some of this stuff we found to be a little accurate. Some we just had to add to it, or the people who translated really did add. But don't be going around having people thinking that you listening to some infallible word of God when there's different shit in here. Like, be a lot. Yeah, it's like, it's so crazy, man. I put it like this. I'm gonna share this one with you guys real quick. I done took the damn screen share off, but it don't matter. I'm gonna just read it to you. And if whoever's actually going into this shit with me, you could turn your Bibles, blah 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 blah, to the book of Exodus, chapter 33. Chapter 33. And put a marker there once you get chapter 33 of Exodus. Chapter 33 verses, we're going to be, you could turn the page because we're going to be going around, we're going to start around verse 19, verse 20. Then I also want you to put a marker in 2 Kings, chapter 18, verse 4. 2 Kings, chapter 18, verse 4. And I'm going to go ahead and start right there at chapter 18 in 2 Kings. Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Eli, king of Israel, that Hezekiah, the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 and 5 years was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 20 and 9 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David his father did. Okay? Here we go. He removed the high places and broke the images and cut down the groves and break into pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made. We have colons here. Remember, we talked about that earlier. Colons is about to explain the few words ahead of the colon. Okay? He broke down the brazen serpent that Moses had made. For a colon, for unto those days, okay, until what days? Until the days that Hezekiah came and stopped this shit. From the time of Moses until the time that Hezekiah stopped this shit, okay, Israel did burn incense to it, and they called it Nehushtan. Okay, and I already went through Nehushtan. It's equivalent to worshiping something. Okay, that's what Nehushtan means. It's an equivalent to worshiping something. All right, so I'm going to read it again. I'm going to just start at 3. And talking about Hezekiah, King Hezekiah now. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David his father did. He removed the high places and broke the images. He cut down the groves and break into pieces that brazen serpent that Moses had made, colon, for until those days the children of Israel did burn incense to and worship it, because Nehushtan is a sign of reverence and or worship. So up until King Hezekiah came, the children of Israel was worshiping a serpent. I heard nothing about that in Kings 17, 1 Kings. I didn't hear about that in 1 Samuel. I didn't hear about that in Exodus. I didn't hear about that in Numbers or Deuteronomy or nowhere that Moses had these niggas worshiping a serpent. Now, the question is, where would he get the notion to do such a thing? And that's when we go back to Exodus. And we'll begin. Blah, 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 blah. We'll start at verse 20. Okay? Exodus chapter 33, verse 20. Exodus chapter 33, verse 20. Give you guys a second to get there, and then we'll go in. Okay? So we just read in 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 3 and 4, that King Hezekiah did what was right in the sight of the Lord. And he came in Israel and broke down all images and brazen images and things that the children of Israel were burning incense to and worshiping. And one of those things just so happened to be a serpent that was configured by Moses himself. Now, the question is, why would Moses do such a thing? And this is why I think Moses did such a thing. Exodus chapter 33, verse 20. And he said, and this is the Lord talking, he said, thou cannot see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. Okay? So the Lord is talking to Moses and telling this nigga, I guess the Lord is in some sort of finite form. Maybe it's infinite, I don't know, but he's in some sort of form, okay? And he's talking to Moses because he's telling him, yo, you can't see me, or I gotta kill you if you see my face, okay? And the Lord said, behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my glory pass by, I will put thee in a cleft of the rock, okay? And will cover thee with my hand while I pass by. And I will take away my hand, and thou shalt see my back parts, but my face thou shalt not see, okay? Now that is very, very, very important that the Lord specifically told Moses, I'm going to do something for you that I ain't doing for other people, G. I'm going to let you see me, but I cannot allow you to see my face, or I'm going to have to kill you, okay? That's neither here nor there. We're not even going to go into why. But this is the Lord say he's going to grant Moses this. I'm going to let you see me, G. I'm just not going to let you see my face, but you're going to get to see the back of me, all right? Now, the Lord covers Moses' face, walks by. After he walks past Moses, I guess, he, she, it, whatever, walks past Moses, and the Lord removes his, I don't want to say hand, but let's just say hand. And the Lord allows Moses to be able to see him once he is past him. Which means what, people? Let's draw that picture. Moses seen the back of God. Okay? You may ask, what does that have to do with a serpent? And Moses making a serpent for people to worship. I don't know if any of you are familiar with other trains of thought, meaning other schools of thought that talk about Yahshua and not Yahshua, but talk about what's his name, Yahweh, Jehovah, or Yahweh. And Yahweh around the world is always depicted as some sort of serpent type entity, like a humanoid looking serpent or a walking serpent type thing. But do not believe me, I'm not making this up. I'm only going off of the fact that I gathered a lot of information in my life. And some of that information was about Yahweh and or Jehovah in actuality being a serpent God. I don't know if that's true or not. I am not saying that that is true. What I am saying is that it is true that Moses, it is talked about that Yahweh is a serpent God by more than a different few cultures around the world, that Yahweh was a serpent, and that Moses is the only person who actually saw this Yahweh individual. And he saw Yahweh, and he made, after he saw Yahweh, now Moses didn't break that up. Hezekiah broke that serpent up. Moses is the one who had it made and had Israel worshiping that shit. Moses didn't break up anything. King Hezekiah came through and broke that shit up. Moses is the one who made it. The question is, why did he make it? Why is it known that there's that all depictions of Yahweh, that are actual visual depictions of him, were, or it was of some sort of serpent entity? And Moses being the only one who saw him, what did he do? He turned around and made an image of a freaking serpent for Israel to worship. He made a serpent for Israel to worship after seeing him. Now I'm gonna put it in this context, guys, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or tell me if I'm right or whatever. Okay, you can, however y'all may feel. Okay, and the reason, the one of the main reasons I bring these things up is because there's no talk about this. You can go and ask 85% of people who read the Bible and read it all their life, and they do not, and because I be talking to these people. This is not in vain that I'm saying these things. Moses, no one had no idea when I started talking about Moses having the children of Israel worship a serpent as Nehushtan and all that. Yo, them niggas never had no idea that that was there. There's nowhere in Deuteronomy, so nobody can give me anything. Anybody gives me is no different than what I'm given. It's just an interpretation or what I may think happened, because there's no scripture anyone can point to that says, oh yeah, no, Moses did it for this reason. There's nowhere in there. I've been through this. This comes from like 13 years of Bible study. I took it serious. You know what I'm saying? I took it very serious. That's why I say I take it serious, because I don't like how people say words but don't know what they mean. Like they'll say things like, reading, just like I read earlier about the allegory, these things being an allegory. Yo, the word allegory should not even be in the Bible at all. If all those things actually happen, the word allegory does not belong in there. But staying on point, this thing with Moses, he's seen the back of something. He didn't see the front of it, but he's seen the back of it. I'm going to put it in this context. If I cover my eyes and a woman walks past me in a bikini, I may not know what her face looks like, but I know for a fact that that is a woman. If, let's just say, a pit bull walks across me, I cover my face, okay? I don't know, the dog might have a white spot in the middle or a white spot on the eye. I'm not sure. But what I do know is I seen the back of that dog, and I know that that is a dog. Okay? If I seen a motherfucking bear walk past me, I didn't see the front, but I know that that's a bear, the back of a bear that just walked past me. There's something people can bring. I heard so many explanations. I heard people talking about Moses, oh, it was his staff and the serpent. And I was like, listen, man, there's nowhere in the Bible that corroborates that. There's nothing in there that corroborates that. Nothing whatsoever. And the only thing that I can get, and like I said, that I can hint to is what would make a person make a image of a serpent after he was the one who tore down the calf, the golden calf, and all that other shit that they was actually worshiping and shit like that. He's the one who came through and ripped all that shit down. Which, well, that was accredited to Moses. And then even if that's the case, Taja, we need to explain what factually is the burning bush. What are these things actually? Because the Bible clearly says that these stories are allegories. They're allegories. And when I do these things, guys, I want y'all to stay on point. Like, don't rip to like 7 different scriptures and all that stuff. Answer these scriptures at hand. And what do you have on the scriptures at hand? Like, what do you have to say that why Moses did this? Because I read it. I read it more than a couple of times, and there's no other explanation. Then it had to be something that he saw. Because the Lord didn't command Moses to make no serpent for anybody to worship. I dare anyone to show me that. I dare anyone to show me where God told Moses, make this serpent. I dare anyone to show me where God said, have the children of Israel burning incense to this thing. And Egypt is an allegory for what? Like, that's what I want to get to. That's why I did all of this stuff. All of this stuff is coming from allegory. It's all a depiction or a story that has some sort of underlying meaning. So even when I bring up stories like Moses worshiping the golden calf, or me tearing down the calf, that meant something other than a calf. These people weren't just worshiping a damn cow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, come on. Well, the Bible says that he did. The Bible says, I'll read it again. The Bible says that Moses had people worshiping a serpent. I'm going to read it again. Chapter 18, verse 4. He is referring to Hezekiah. He removed the high places and broke the images and cut down the groves and broke in pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made. Now, what you guys are telling me is the Bible is wrong. You got to be telling me the Bible's wrong, because the Bible clearly says the serpent that Moses had made. For until those days, what days? The days that Hezekiah came and broke that shit up. Until those days, Israel did burn incense to it and worship it as Nehushtan. And Nehushtan is a sign of worship. But Moses, the whole point is, somebody just said he didn't make the serpent. And he did make the serpent. He made that. He made that serpent and had Israel worship that serpent. It doesn't say for what purposes. It doesn't say any of that. I'm just saying that's what it says. And I want to tackle that, because most people are only trying to use the Bible to answer the question. And apparently it has to be outside of the Bible. The answer to that question has to be outside the Bible, because there's no information in there. There's nowhere else in that book that it refers to Moses making a serpent except right there. Nowhere in this book can you find a reason why Moses made a serpent and had Israel worshiping that shit. There's nowhere in there. That's the only time that it was even brought up. So I just find it very interesting. I just wanted to talk about it. I got other stuff that I want to talk about the Bible. Tons of other stuff. Tons of other stuff. And about Islam. Especially about Islam. Because Islam has a lot of answers. I mean, a lot of questions to answer. Like more, I even say more so than Israel. You know what I'm saying? More so than Christianity, I think Islam has a lot of questions to answer, because a lot of this shit comes from Christianity. When I started studying the Quran and studying it itself, not practicing Islam or none of that, making salat 80,000 times a day and none of that weird ass shit. Like, I started studying that shit outside of itself, and it was the same thing as Christianity. I mean, it's like a mirror. It's like you know what I call Islam? I think Islam is like, they should stop calling it Islam, and they should just call it, they're like Puritans, like Christian Puritans and shit, how they all to the book and to the this and to the, like, that's how Islam is. Because that's the religion talk that we're going to tackle next time on Late Night Religion Talk. I got to spread all this out. I can't just bring up Bible stuff and then not include them in it, because they got a whole lot of shit to answer for. But for one of the main reasons that that we went through, a lot of the shit that we went through as far as Black people and being put into bondage and all of that shit like that. All of that shit came through Islam. A lot of that shit came from Islam, yo. Like, everybody talks about everybody talks about having Christianity at the back of Black people being oppressed and this, that, and the third. And again, Islam keeps getting a pass. Like, how do you keep getting a pass when I ain't gonna forget about all them castrations you did in Africa, because motherfuckers didn't want to bend to the will of Islam, and all them Black people that the niggas today keep trying to act like, oh no, these was the real or Muslims and shit. No, them niggas was niggas who got their dicks cut off and became eunuchs and started practicing Islam. That's where that shit came from. So I got all these religions, man. I just don't do it because it's too structured, it's too arbitrary. Anybody can say anything and it sounds good. Oh no, this is what it really means. Oh no, this is what it really means. Like there's no way that I can have a title called Late Night Religious Talk and we have 13, let's say 13 people read it and 13 people read that in a different way. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. Like you either, if it's something, and again, coming from the Bible, God is not the author of confusion. So it's very confusing to have in a book a chapter that has 20 verses, and then in that same book tell you that most of the translators don't believe this because this were add-ins and this, that, like those things are those things raise questions, man. Those things raise questions that need to be answered, and they can't be answered away with other Bible verses. You know what I'm saying? Like those things are those questions require an answer that is a legitimate, sound, rational answer. You know, like I can't say, well, why did Moses make this serpent? Well, I can't point to a Bible verse because it's not in there. I would have to make one up. So other than when it says that he actually made them. So other than that, I have to use my own interpretation, and generally is using it outside of it, outside the Bible itself. When I talk about Islam and people keep telling me, what did the dude tell me? Allah something, like Allah knows all and Allah will reveal all. I was like, dog, that sounds like fucking weird talk. You know what I'm saying? Like if things are going on and if Allah is here working for me and me and him are together, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, G. Like, come on, man. Like, why Allah ain't fixing what the fuck is going on with us? How come Allah got 19 different sects of Islam? And this, that, and the third. Like, come on, man. None of this shit makes sense. How come Allah never told anybody that you got Muslims running around here talking shit about Christianity and things like that, when some of the words like Quran and things of that nature really mean one who reads the Pentateuch, which is a Christian book? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the religion talk, man. Religion is a confusing thing, man. That's why I rarely go into it too much. But I only want to go into it because people want to talk about this stuff, man. You guys want to talk about other things, and I like to do it. I figured that I spent my life gathering information just like everybody else did. I spent my life gathering information, Tasha, like everybody else did. I grew up. My grandfather is a bishop. He's not even a preacher. He was a bishop. Like, I heard it all. I've heard every story. I've been around everywhere. I heard everybody tell people, say things, well, it's how you read it, and it's I'm like, come on, man, that can't be the case, because most people that I know that read the Bible, I've never seen anybody except myself read a Bible with dictionaries. I've never came across too many people. I've actually never physically come across anybody who reads a Bible routinely and has thick dictionaries right there beside them to translate the words. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yo, you telling me you read perfect old English? Come on now. That's impossible, because the word fuck in England actually meant to fucking go to your garden and do garden work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a lot of stuff, man, that I want to get into, guys. And y'all know damn well I'm not forgetting about you know who. These conscious cons. And I wanted a platform where I could come and people who are Hebrew Israelites, people who are Christian, people who are Muslims and practice Islam can come and say your piece. Like, y'all in the chat running y'all mouth about how y'all feel and giving y'all information. I'm all for that. Even if I don't agree with it, I don't care. This is what I want. I want you guys to feel free to come here, and we're going to have a conversation, and you're going to say your piece and I'm going to say my piece, and we still going to be cool as a fucking fan tomorrow and the day after. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no platform where I'm out here editing the video and editing the chat so it looks like everybody's agreeing with me and this, that, and the third, yo. Like, no, I'm not with none of that. This is what I want. Everybody running our mouth. I just need to stop doing these damn things so late. I really need to stop doing these things so late, because I be wanting to have a bigger room, but I don't care. I like the people that actually come to my room, though. So it don't really matter. I'm going, what I'm going after Yisrael is the notions. I'm a big, the reason how, you know how you, like, whatever you guys did, like Tasha, Chemo, I don't know what y'all actually did to come into enlightenment. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Of course I know. What y'all came into enlightenment, how you did it. But me, myself, I came in through another path. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came into enlightenment through another path, and I came in through it by questioning myself. You see what I'm saying? And when I started questioning myself, do you know what I found? I found that not just me, that most of us run around operating off of notions and common acceptances of the truth and not the actual thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so rampant in this society. That's why I say everything in America is fake. Everything in America is fake. That's why I can't take nothing damn near serious here. No works of art, no works of literature. Like, most of this stuff, I deem it fake because that's what I seen. I was like, most people don't know shit. Most people don't know when the Bible was constructed and who it was constructed by. They'll just say something like it was put together by blah, 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 blah. Some ambiguous shit that you can't confirm. You know what I'm saying? You said you was raised Jehovah's Witness, Tasha. I got cousins who still go to hall right now. I got one who just stopped going. You know what I'm saying? I think in the last couple years or so, and she's just been, just enlightening herself in different ways. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, my cousins used to go to hall. I remember that shit. I remember that shit. And they didn't practice Christmas and stuff. We used to think they was weird when we was little and shit. But I respect it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stance. That's why I always said, man, I could pick good out of everything. It's just my nature. I can put good shit out of everything. I could take the Bible, man, and use that shit as the most super positive book ever created. I can take the Quran and use it as the most super positive book ever created. Like, that's just, I have a niche for that. Because I like to see a common picture. I like to see an overall picture. You know what I'm saying? But I just want this shit. Most people go off of notions and common acceptances. That's what we do. We don't investigate shit, or we're investigated enough so that it, you know what I'm saying, fits our paradigm. You know what I'm saying? And that, to speak on that, Tasha, on the pagan thing, like, that's another thing that used to always baffle me. Like, I used to always say, man, it's crazy how people pagans are looked at as negative entities or negative people. But it's like, a pagan simply, you know what I'm saying, not to go all in depth, but a pagan is just one who worships and reveres all gods. Like, I heard, I remember this dude was talking about it one time. He was like, I don't deal with that pagans, and them pagans, they always worshiping many gods and da 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 da. And I was like, damn, dog. Like, I read books on that shit, more than a couple. And I was like, dog, all this shit seems like it. I'm not saying that they're righteous people because pagans or whatever, and I'm not saying that they're evil. I'm just saying that, dog, they respect all gods. Like, a pagan, if a pagan is in a strange land and he hears that, okay, there's the rock god, and the rock god will give you blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But, like, yo, the pagans look at it like, I don't know this rock god, but I'll still give him his respect as a god. You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't go around saying, no, this is God, and ain't nobody else God, and you can't say, you know what I'm saying? And like, that's the only thing. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that there's many gods. I don't know that there's a God. I don't know that there's one God. And how the fuck do I know that my energy is not that God? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. And it's just some of that stuff, I just can't subscribe to that stuff anymore because it's too cliche and it's too notion-y. It's too notion-y and common acceptance-y. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a common acceptance that, well, the Lord gonna make a way. Like, come on, man. There's plenty of people who denounce the Lord and their ways is being made and being made way better than yours. You know what I'm saying? And then you could say, well, maybe it's not for you to do that. Okay, well, that's easy to say. But what if you do desire these things? These things can be yours, but you can't attain them going the route that you're going. Like, it's just different. I don't know. Religion is a very fucking confusing thing, guys. That's why I don't fuck with it, yo. I just fuck with people. Like, if you're a good person and you treat me with respect and dignity and care, you know what I'm saying? Like, you treat me like you care what I think about you and how I feel about you, that's all I be after, man. Because that's what community is. That's what community building is. Oh my gosh, dog. We've been over an hour and no one told me. I was going to only make this like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, y'all. I was just going to run my mouth a little bit, see what y'all had to say, and let y'all fill up the chat a little bit with your opinions, because I don't want it just being my fucking opinion. So I wanted y'all to get in here, run y'all mouth, and give me your opinions. We'll do more. We'll definitely do more. Because like I said, I want to attack Islam next. I definitely want to challenge Islam next. I definitely want to do that Islam shit. Because Islam has an arrogance with them. They have this arrogance that what they're doing is the most popping shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't deal with that shit, man. Like, I don't like that. If you was coming in the name of righteousness, just come and spread your righteousness and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Don't be coming and bashing everybody else while you doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of shit that I don't get down with. Because I be looking at it like you just trying to mislead me into following your way and your train of thought. And I don't want to do that. I'll follow your train of thought if it makes sense to me. I'm not going to do it just because you're trying to pull me into it. Or make me feel like I'm horrible if I don't do it your way and this, that, and the third. So, yeah, me and Islam got a date. Me and the Quran definitely got a date, because I want to know why the Quran really means one who reads the Pentateuch. And the Pentateuch is a fucking Christian book. And you motherfuckers, most people who run around practice Islam call Christians all sort of names about how they going to hell and this, that, and the third. And so how they going to burn in the fires of whatever fires that Allah be having, fires that be burning and all that stuff. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Because you're reading the same book. You just call it something different. How can you take something and make a spin-off of it and act like you got some original shit? That one right there deserves a shame bell, Islam. So, guys, it's getting late, man. I enjoyed y'all, Tasha Pope. You know you always like my #1 freaking ace. And my ace Posh came through, of course. She always sneaks in. Yeah, and yo, we definitely, oh man, we might do them, Tasha, before we do Islam. We might deal with these Jews, these Khazars, these white people calling themselves Hebrew. We might have to deal with that before we even go to Islam. Because that's another one of them notions and common acceptances that everybody just goes along with. Oh, they're the Jews, or they're the children of such and such, whatever. Whatever. You know what? That's gonna be next. Fuck it. We'll do Islam after that. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go in my little books and shit and pull out all my Jew stuff, all my shit, all of that, and we'll go into them next, because they're hijackers. That culture vulture shit is old. It runs long and deep with them. That culture vulture shit, and this is part of it, because it's still black people around here today who thinks that those people are Jesus people. That shit's crazy, yo. You got people running around today and will look at somebody like Seth Rogen or somebody and be like, yo, yeah, he's a child of God, or he's a special person. He's a fucking German. And he changed. He was a white man who picked Judaism because he was surrounded by armies and he had to pick, and that's the one he picked. The hell out of here, yo. We definitely going into that. Yeah, I don't know why I was going to do Islam. I was going to do Islam because of the arrogance. And most Muslims, as far as they really be thinking that they got the old, original, everything. And I'd be like, yo, nobody has that. I don't care who you are. You ain't got it because you can't prove it. So therefore, you ain't got it as far as I'm concerned because you can't prove it. But, dog, that whole Jew shit, yeah, that shit has to be broken down. That has to be broken down. That wall needs to be broken down. That you people's skin won't even allow you to do the things that you said you did in the places that all these stories in the Bible and all that shit. These people, your skin would not allow you to be there. Your skin would not allow you to do the things that you are taking credit for. Okay, your skin alone won't let you do it. Won't let you be able to take the credit for that shit. So, love you guys dearly. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Please go to my homepage, and you will see in my homepage, you will see some links up there. One link is to Shane TV East Watch. If you have not subscribed, please go do so. Another link is to my Facebook group. You know, if I mess with you, come on in, and I'll let you right in. And my last link on that page is to a new YouTube channel, and it's called The Struggle Is Real with Miss Fancy. You can go ahead and click on and subscribe, and she just started, so you can hear what she's got to talk about. And she's just just picking her page up, you know what I'm saying? So I want you guys to go over there and like, comment, share, and especially subscribe to her page for me. And other than that, guys, I love y'all dearly as usual. I love running my mouth to you guys. I love it as much as I want my chats to be bigger, even because this page is still small. I just started it. But I love that we be having who we have in here, and it makes it fun and it makes it enjoyable for me. So I appreciate the love. I appreciate everybody fucking with me still through all the ups and downs. Through all the Sinetta attacks and how he wants to bring me down and how he wants to destroy me for just sharing information about his ass. It's all good. I'm still here. Somebody told me when I started doing this, like, when you have a few core people that mess with you, that's all you really need. And I think that I've been blessed by whoever gives out the blessings. I'm not trying to be funny, but whoever gives out the blessings, I think that I've been blessed, man, to be to have a group of people that fuck with me no matter what. So I appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna holler at you guys later. It's getting Liz-8. It's getting Liz-8, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Holler at me later. Peace.